What do you do with your homepage when you have multiple products that you need to emphasize, or you've got multiple audiences that you need to cater to, or in the case of Unioncrate, both? How do you keep from alienating one part of your audience and losing them entirely while still showing the audience that you really need to attract, hey, this is for you, we've got something that you need? So these were the challenges I was facing when I was putting together the Unioncrate site, and I thought it might be fun to just tear down how we tackled that. Now, some quick backstory so you can understand what you're looking at here. Unioncrate is a solution. They're a software platform for CPG brands, consumer packaged goods. So we're talking like Heinz, people who make perishable goods, stuff we eat, stuff we consume. And they have one platform, but two different tools that are kind of integrated, and you can buy them separately. So one is supply chain management, and that's all about managing your day-to-day inventory, your invoices, your purchase orders, all of the paperwork, and all of the different processes that make a supply chain run day-to-day. And the second is demand planning. And demand planning is all about forecasting future demand. And right now, today, for most companies, it's a really clunky, manual-intensive process where you have to crunch a bunch of numbers and look at a bunch of disparate spreadsheets and kind of take your own internal data and try to extrapolate it. It's a mess. But every percent you're off, or every bit that you're off, either over or under, means you either have a whole bunch of inventory sitting in a warehouse or sitting in a store not selling, or if you underestimate demand, then you don't produce enough and now you miss out on sales. You're short stocked, so your partners are upset because they could have made sales and that sort of thing. So the challenge with Unioncrate is that they are one integrated platform, two separate tools that you can buy separately or together, and two very different audiences. So on the supply chain management side, the only people who are going to be interested in that offer are small businesses to mid-sized businesses. By the time you're an enterprise company, you're using a huge solution like SAP, or Oracle. So they've got these massive competitors on the supply chain management side, and they've chosen not to compete there. They're not trying to build this crazy full-fledged platform for that. They've got a platform that is catered exactly to consumer packaged goods brands and really good for those startups all the way to mid-sized companies. The demand planning side of things appeals to both small companies, mid-sized companies, and enterprise. It is an enterprise-grade tool that is accessible to everyone. And what's really unique about it is that all that manual stuff that I talked about, all of the crunching numbers, having meetings, taking your own internal data, Unioncrate solves that problem. So this is the issue, is we needed to appeal to those enterprise customers that go for the demand planning and want it because it doesn't replace an existing solution for them. It sits on top of SAP or Oracle or whatever. We had to attract those people, but we didn't want to lose the small businesses. And simultaneously, if we led with the supply chain management solution, then we would attract those small businesses, but we'd be turning off enterprise customers almost right away because they would say, well, we don't need supply chain management. Big predicament. So how do we solve that? And so I'm hoping there will be some lessons here for you that you can unpack and take back if you sell to multiple audiences. And I want to show you how I did it on the Unioncrate site. So we're going to turn our attention now to the site. The first thing is, when you have two different audiences like this, you want to look for those common denominators. What are the common pain points that they have? What are the common outcomes that they have? Step aside from the tools, step aside from the products, and look for what are those commonalities in goals, in pains, in hesitations, and that's where you begin to craft your narrative. What is going to work for both of these parties and stay true to the unique value proposition that you offer? Now, in this case for Unioncrate, it meant that we had to be a little bit more high level in the language and the promises that we made. We couldn't necessarily say, manage your entire supply chain right off the bat as the primary headline, because again, the enterprise companies go, this is not what we need. We want demand planning. So this is the way that we handled it here. This is just one solution. We found those common denominators in that no matter which tool people were using, they wanted to be able to predict the future and control today. In demand planning, you want to make decisions in today. You want to be able to make decisions that are impacted by that future demand. So it's not supply chain management, but it is making decisions and feel like you have control over the decisions you're making right now. So we led with a headline that addressed the benefits that both parties want, regardless of the tools that they ultimately choose. So predict the future, control today. And then this is the line that the team at Unioncrate ultimately settled on. I put forward about 15 different iterations for them to test, but this is the one they've got right now. Unioncrate is an artificial intelligence supply chain platform that helps CPG brands become free from inaccurate predictions, manual processes, and wasted capital. So again, we don't just talk about the task. We've eliminated the tasks here, and we've talked about what it is, and how it helps. So it gets rid of inaccurate predictions. That leads with that demand planning piece that appeals to both of them. And then we get into these other things. Manual processes, common to both demand planning and supply chain management, and wasted capital, common to both. We found this common denominator, these common promises that we could make that would appeal to both parties, still make them attracted to what we're selling here, and then give them the opportunity to make a decision to buy. And we've got requested demo. And if you push requested demo, you can see I've got the opportunity to choose demand planning and operations management, simple work email, short demo, huge ROI. So we actually developed, and you can go and look, we developed requested demo pages for the individual tools too. So if someone has drilled down and they're indicating interest in just that tool, they have an opportunity to just convert on that front. We assume that people on the homepage are probably a little bit more aware if they're converting at this point. So as we move down, we see trusted by CPG brands of all sizes. We wanted to hammer home this CPG piece because that's part of what makes Unioncrate unique, is that is the only audience they serve. So unlike other competitors like Fishbowl and different companies like that, Fishbowl and those other companies, they try to serve everyone, manufacturing and retail, this and that, the other thing, where Unioncrate is solely focused on CPG. We needed that differentiator to come through loud and clear so people could see themselves, the right leads could see themselves using the tool. Then we have this section here that, again, we're talking about these common benefits, but also common pain agitation. So these are the pains held by both parties on both sides. Consumer behavior is evolving. Your supply chain should too. You can tell this is a pretty timely image for this time. Consumer behavior really is changing and evolving. Mask in the store is a perfect picture to articulate that. Full credit goes to the team at Unioncrate for choosing that image. We give CPG brands the tools they need to compete and win in rapidly changing markets. Again, that applies to both supply chain management and to demand planning. This means total visibility without needless complexity, greater accuracy with less effort, and agility to act no matter how big your business or small your team. Notice the phrasing there. Big business could be as big as enterprise, small team. Even within enterprise companies, the teams responsible for demand planning can sometimes be small. So in this clever way, we've kind of, again, appealed to both parties. We've made promises they cared about, agitated pains they both have. Then the future of CPG is faster, smarter, and more connected than ever. With Unioncrate, you can keep up and stay ahead. Applies to both tools. So then we get into now differentiating the two. One platform, two integrated tools, and we lead with the one that is common to both. The one that both small businesses all the way up to enterprise are going to be attracted to. So one platform, two integrated tools, that was really important because this gives that sense of, okay, it's one, they're interconnected, but they're two separate tools, and now I can explore the ones that are right for me. So demand planning AI, more accurate forecast, less work to get them. That's something both, no matter how big or small your business, that's what you want. We have this kind of storytelling format that is a little bit interesting, a little bit different. A lot of companies here would just rattle off the benefits or say what this is. We decided to put it in a little bit of a storytelling format. So the idea, improve prediction accuracy with real-world human consumption data and automated analysis on a humanly impossible scale. The result, up to 85.3% accuracy at the SKU level in a fraction of the time. So rather than lead with the outcome, lead with the big result, and then try to justify it, we try to pique that curiosity, get them interested in what was the big idea, and then when we present the result, they can see it flows logically. Instead of presenting them with a statement of, we can increase by up to 85.3%, we involve them in, hey, this was the idea, and so now mentally they're kind of invested. Oh, okay, would that work? What would the outcome of that be? So we can then present the result, and now they're less likely to flinch at it. And that's the idea anyway, flinch at and go, oh, I don't think that's possible. And then we've got this kind of screw it, let's do it section. So my goal in writing this page is that I didn't want someone to have to even visit the page to get the gist of what is special about the Unioncrate platform. So they're the only platform that incorporates consumer behavior at the scale that they do. It's zero touch demand forecasting. So that's that AI piece. It's AI driven. So they have to do very little. Another way to say little to no manual work, but a different way of saying it. No black box prediction. So if you're in the space, you understand that a prediction coming out of another tool is a black box. You don't understand how things are weighted and ranked. So by saying this, we pique that curiosity of, well, what does that mean? So then they'll click through and they can kind of explore that more. And then AI trained for CPG trends. So again, we're hammering home, this is a CPG specific tool. It's got an AI that's trained to recognize trends that matter to your space. Then we get into operations management. So stay on top of operations and ahead of demand. The idea, simplify the CPG supply chain by eliminating Excel help, clunky ERPs, and one-size-fits-none platforms. The result in average 2 times efficiency for fast-growing brands. And then again, we have a section on their core differentiators. Now, one thing that we could have done here that we didn't is specify here small to mid-sized businesses only. I'm kind of a split mind about that. By showing that, we could have shown people, okay, this is definitely for me. It's definitely appeals to me. My worry was by saying by small to mid-sized businesses only and not saying, enterprise ready. One of the lines that I had written here was, enterprise grade, small business friendly, which that would have depicted, okay, everyone's welcome to this tool. And then we could have had a qualifier here as well. We do start to qualify that on the pages themselves. So that would be something you could test, is what would the impact on clicks and conversions be if we brought that information one step higher, especially for a new lead. And we've got these integrations here. So regardless, we can see, okay, integrates with SAP, NetSuite. Really important for the enterprise people to understand that it's not a replacement for those tools, because they don't want to replace those tools. They've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for those. And then we've got the other logos that both brands would be interested in. And then again, appealing to the values that we know based on feedback from the companies they care about. So built by people who know your industry, supported by people who know your name. One of the key pieces of feedback that we saw in the research was that poor service was a reason to switch at a certain level. So people hated the service, especially small to mid-sized businesses hated the service of competitors who treated them like a number. We didn't just want to say we're like an extension of your team with the old cliche. So said it another way, we're going to know your name and we know your industry. Again, hammering home that CPG angle, we know your niche. And now bringing in the piece of we know your name. Very personal, very one-to-one. Another way to talk about that benefit. From startups to enterprise, spreadsheets to SAP, we've been where you are. That's why we care so much about solving CPG's problems and even more about the people behind the products. Get to know us, push us to the About page. I'll do another video on that another time. Then here, just in case they missed these differentiators and they're in scroll mode, what's different about Unioncrate? Now they have the opportunity to see the benefits that are common to both tools. So they can say, okay, on the whole, these are the things that set Unioncrate apart, because we know that people in this space, typically, if they're brand new to it, then that's one level. But typically, they're comparing multiple solutions. We wanted a very fast way for them to assess this is what makes Unioncrate a unique solution, a different solution. The big so what? So we didn't want them to have to dig through and go, oh, these are the core points. We just trotted them out right in front of their face right here. And we've got social proof down here. You'll find it throughout the site, easily accessible through case studies as well. Then we're into the footer. So that's how we tackled two different audiences for this page. Hopefully some lessons and useful things in there for you. And if you enjoy this, let me know, and I can break down some of the other pages, like how we wrote the About Us page is more of a Why Us page, or some of the sneaky things we did on the product pages to really quickly hammer home those differentiators as well. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. If you're watching this over the weekend, but I guess video can be watched anytime. So have a great day, regardless of what day it is for you. Take care.